this video, I'm going to teach you how to create the advanced scroll animation. Many of you have asked how I did this particular animation in Frame. In this video, I'm going to explain you how exactly I have created this type of animation. So without making any much delay, let's get into the video. So that we have the basic setup with a title wrap. Here I have added with the two titles. This one will be the first and this one will be the second. Let me show you the website. So on load, it should slide from left and this should slide from right. Let's see how we are going to make that. So coming to the first title, let me add the effects. So let me go to the effects. Let me add a scroll animation. And then coming to this, we have mentioned the trigger as layering view and we need to make that star to be in at the top. Okay, so I have set it to top. So let me preview this. So this is how it should look. But we need to set a timer. It's too fast, right? So we need to set some of the slight changes to the timer. So for that, let me go to the animation. In the effect, you can see the transition. So we need to change the transition effect. So let me go here. So instead of based on time, let me go to the physics and coming to the stiffness, let me give it as 500. For tamping, let me give it as 80. Okay, the same follow-ups for this. So again, let me go to the effects, spring, physics, and it will be around 580. So let me check how it's work. It's working very smooth. All right. And the next thing is, let me show you again. When I scroll, this particular text should move up and it should hide. How to do this effect? So for this, we need to add another wrap above this particular title. So let me add a stack above this title. Let me give it as top title. And coming to this, let me add another stack. It will be act as bottom title. Okay, done. Now we need to make this effect. That is, on scroll, it should move up. And then another thing is, it's staying in the same position. It's not moving up. Only the text is moving, but actually it's staying inside the spring. How to do that? So we need to make it as a sticky position. So for that, let me add another stack. This will be act as sticky. Okay. So let make this position to be in sticky position. All right. And let's check if it stays. So let me go here. Let me check. Yes, it's staying at the top. Okay. Now we have made this particular thing to be sticky and then we need to make this particular text to scroll up and hide it completely. So for that, so in order to achieve this effect, we need to use the scroll transform effect. Okay. What we should do now here is this particular text should stay on the screen and the text should go up and hide it completely. How to do that? That is, so on scroll, when a particular thing hit the screen, then this particular title should trigger up. So let me explain you. Here I am going to create 3 frames which is beneath this sticky. So let me create a frame. This will be act as 1 and let me duplicate it for 2 times. It will be act as 2 and this will be act as 3. Okay, and let me give a considerable gap. Okay, and for the variation, let me give some other colors. Okay, let me explain you. I'm just scrolling up. It's staying right there, but only this frame is going up, right? If this particular frame is a particular place in the screen, then the particular action should take place in this title. So this is what we are going to perform. In order to make this particular frame to trigger the other one, we should use the scroll section because we need to give the proper name for each of this frame, and when this particular frame hits the screen, it should trigger this particular title, right? So for that we need to specify the name for this. So coming to this 1, let me go to the scroll section, let me name it as 1. And coming to the 2, let me go to the scroll section, let me name it as 2. And for the 3, scroll section 3. So that we have given the name for these frame. Now let me go to this title. We have added the transform effect, right? So let me go here. So in what the trigger should be, the trigger is not on the on. So the trigger should be based on the section in view. So only if this particular section comes in the view, this particular title should trigger up. Okay, we have mentioned it as section in view, and here we have to mention where this viewport is. The meaning of this bottom is, let me show you, if this, can you see this second one? So if it hits the bottom of the screen, then this particular text should show some of the trigger. If the third one hits the bottom of the screen, then another action should take up, something like that. So this is what called the viewport in the bottom. If it comes to the middle, only if this particular frames comes to the center of the screen. Let me show you. For example, let me take the second frame. So this will be the second frame, right? So if that particular frames comes to the bottom, none of the action should take place. So if it comes to the middle, the action should take place to this title. So this is what it means. The same follow-ups for the top. Only if that particular frame hits the top of the screen, the trigger should take place. Okay. So for that we need to make it as bottom. Okay. Now we need to set the section. What section? That is 1. And now we need to mention from and to. From means, so from where the trigger should happens. So initially that opacity should be 1, scaling should be 1, and the positioning should be in 0 and 0. And the next thing is 2. So where it should go. So if the section 1 hits the screen, that particular title should go from one particular place to another place, right? So we have set the from position. The next thing is to. What we need to make that particular title should goes up. So coming to here, let me make something like this. And let me give the transition. And then we can add then another section. So let me add the another section. This will be the 2. So when it hits the 2, let me add it furthermore. Okay, let me give the offset furthermore. Done. And another issue rises. Let me show you. It's already hits the bottom of the screen. That's why it's moving up, right? It shouldn't take place. Only if it hits the screen, hits the bottom of the screen, it should take place. So for that, let me select the sticky star and let me go to the height. Let me make the viewport and let me give it as 100 viewport. Only if the particular thing hits the screen, it's moving up. And on replaying, it's coming from here. This doesn't look good, right? So for that, let me select this particular title. Let me go to the animation. Let me disable the replay to no. The same follow-ups for the another title. Replay to no. Okay, let me preview this. When it hits the screen, it's moving up and hiding completely. The same thing follow-ups for the second one. So for that, let me again copy this transform and let me paste. Okay. So for this transform, the position will vary. So the from will be the same, and coming to the to, it's completely opposite. It should go here. Okay. The same thing follow-ups. And it make it as, okay, it's coming down. Okay, let me preview this. It's working fine. It's working perfectly fine. Okay, now comes another thing. We can see the image behind this. So how we should place this image behind this. So for that, let me include the image. Now I have added the background image in the absolute position. So it won't conflict the title, and I have given with width to 100% and height to 100%. Okay, so this particular the image should stay behind the screen. So let me show you here. There is no stretching of this image. It's staying behind the screen. something is opening up this particular image. So we need to create that effect like this. Okay. Okay. So for that we have to add a white box. So only when we scroll, the particular white box should move like this and should move like this. Okay. And then the particular the image should reveal. So let me explain you how to do that. For that, let me create a white frame. Now I have added the white layer, and coming to the white layer, I have used the top white, left white, bottom white and right white. And instead of giving it as white for the better understandability, let me give some of the color. Okay. So I have given it as in green color. So in this white layer, we have made the position to be in absolute, the same as background absolute position, because it should not conflict with the titles. Okay. The next thing is white layer wrap. Inside we have the top white, left white, bottom white and right white. So for the top white, I have used the position to be in relative with the width of 100% and with the height of 50 viewport. So that it will occupies only the 50% of the viewport height. The next thing is bottom. So it's come up with the bottom. Again, I have given the position to be in relative and with the width of 100%, again with the height of 50 viewport. Okay. So the top white will be at the top and the bottom will be in the bottom. So, and then for the white layer, I have made the direction to be in vertical. Okay. Because if we make it as a vertical, the top white, the top layer will be at the top, the bottom layer will be at the bottom. The next important thing is left and right. So coming to the left, we need to give the position to be in absolute in order to overlap the top and bottom. Okay, let me explain you. If you make it as relative, it will conflict something like this. Let me make the right again relative. It would conflict something like this. Okay, so in order to avoid that, we need to make it as absolute. So let me change the position to be in absolute. So let me make it as absolute, and for this let me make it as absolute. So for the better understandability, let me give some of the color for these two. Okay, that. So coming to the left, we need to pin the position to be in the left. So let me make it to 0. Okay, so that we have pinned the position to the left, and coming to the right, we need to pin the position to the right. So let me make it to 0, or else you can use this one, so that it comes to the right side. Done. And what's the other thing is, when this particular section hits the screen, then each of this layer should move a little bit, and it should reveal the background image, right? So for that, again we need to use the scroll transform animation. So for this transform animation, I am going to set the trigger to in section in view. Now I need to set the section. What's the section? The section 1. Okay, this one. So when the first section hits the screen, the particular top, this top layer, right, this is the top layer. So this top layer should go from this one to somewhere around 60 offset, somewhere around minus 60. So it has moved up, right. Once the section hits the bottom of the screen, it should move up. The same follows for the remaining section. Let me go to the bottom white. Here I am going to add the scroll transform effect. So coming to the bottom white, this is the bottom thing. So for this bottom, I have set the trigger to be in section in view. Now the section will be in 1, and from where it should go? It should go from opacity 1 to scale, and in the same position it should go to 70. We have bring it down. Now we need to set the scroll transform animation for the left and right. So coming to the left, we have set the same thing, section in view. We need to set the section to be in 1. It should go from the same place. Now it should move a little bit towards the left. So let me go to the 2. We should move the offset little bit to the left. The same follows for the right. Let me show you. Let me set the section to 1. So it should move a little bit of offset 140. And now let me take out all the colors. Let me give the value to be in white. Okay. So that we have set the animation. Let me explain you again. For the top layer, we have set the trigger to section in view. The section will be this one. This is the one. It should go to the effect from this to this. So, it should go up, and for the bottom it should go down, and for the left it should go towards the left, and for the right it should go towards the right. Okay, let us see how it works. So, it's working perfectly fine. Let me scroll now. Once this blue frame hits the screen, it's working perfectly fine. And now it should expand to the full screen. So, let us see how to do that. Let me go to the white layer. For the top, let me set the section to 2. It should go to minus 670. It have moved up. See, okay, we have set the section 2. The same follows for the bottom. Let me set the section to 2. The effect should 670. It should goes down. The same follows for the left. Let me set the section to 2, and it should move. Let me show you. It should move towards the left, and coming to the right, let me set the section to 3, and it should move towards the right. Okay, let's see how it's work. Oh, it's not working perfectly fine. Only if the third section hits, it's expanding up. We have done some of the mistake. So, let me go to the right in the transform. I have set the section to 3. Let's change it to 2. Okay, now let's check how it's working. Okay, it's expanding. Very good. Nice. Okay. So, in order to avoid the confusion, let me take out this colors, and coming to the desktop, let me make it to fit content. Okay. Now, let's check. It's working perfectly fine. Now, the other thing is when the screen shows up and another text appears, how to do that? For that, let me add another text here, that is in the center. Now, we need to add the text inside this center. Okay. For that, let me add another text called services inside this title wrap. So that we have added this title with a wrap of service wrap. Let me preview this. This particular text is showing up now. It shouldn't be like this. So, instead of giving the position to be in relative, we need to change it to absolute, so that it's behind this. Okay. So, that we made this. Let me preview how it's working. So, when we scroll, it's working perfectly fine. Even the title is showing up. And this particular title should not be up here something like this. And also, only if the full screen is showing up, this particular service title should comes from the top and to this original place. Okay. So, again for this we are going to use the trigger, that is the scroll transform. So, for that let me add the scroll transform effect. So, for this title I have added the effect. Okay. So, for that we need to set the section to be in 3. So, only if this particular third section appears at the bottom of the screen, then only this particular title animation should trigger up. That is why I have given the transform, that is why I have given the section to be in 3. Now, we need to set the from position and to position. For the from, we need to make that particular title should hide. Okay. So, let me show you. The opacity should be 1 and the scaling should be 1. Only the offset should goes up. Okay. So, instead of in the position of 0, we have set the position to be in minus 150 initially. So, initially that particular service should be at the top. So, only when the particular section, that is the third section, hit the bottom of the screen, then it comes to its original position. Let me explain you. Let me change the color for the better understandability. Okay. So, initially we can't able to see the service title. So, once it's moving up, it's showing the entire image. So, if this particular section hits the screen, it's scrolling down. So, this is how we need to set the effect. Now, let me take out this color. Let me show you. It's working perfectly fine. When I scroll, it stays and also it hides. It's going good. And if the other thing hits, it's going up, and then the title shows up. So, this is how you need to work on the scroll section. So, let me recall you here. We have used a title wrap, the top title. So, inside it we have a title. The same thing follows for the bottom. And then we have used a background image with a position of absolute, okay, with a width of 100% and height of 100%, okay. And then we have used a white layer, that is with the top, bottom, left and right. Each we have given the scroll transform animation, and also we made both layers to be in a lock position. And also we have added the 3 frames and we have given with the scroll section name. So, only if this particular section hits the screen, it should trigger up the action for this particular title, right. And now again we have added the service title inside these 2 titles with the position of absolute, okay. And only when the third section hits the screen, the trigger should happen for this title. So, this is how we need to work on the scroll transform. Make sure to see it again if you didn't understand the concept. Actually, this is some advanced scroll transform. Make sure to work on it again and again in order to understand it clearly. I hope you have really enjoyed this video and gained some of the knowledge about how to use a scroll transform. If you really like this, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more Framer tips and web design tips. And don't forget to share it with your fellow designer. See you in the next one.